Ugh, what? Hey everyone, on this episode of Coding with Kate, I'm going to be taking a practice exam for the CCA. I want to see where I'm at and see what the exam somewhat is like, and then I have my timer so then we can time how long it takes. I won't be going over any of the questions aloud just because I don't know if when you purchase the exam it populates new questions every time, so I don't know if it's going to be the same exact exam if you were to go on and take it. I don't want to be giving out answers, but hopefully if I can figure out how to speed up the video so then we can have a quick montage of me doing it, and then we'll have the timer going, and then we'll see how long it takes. So let's see what happens. Okay, so the first thing that I have to do is go on and buy the exam. I would have done this ahead of time, but I honestly didn't know if when I buy it, it just opens right away and then I have to do it, because you can only do it once, and if you close the browser, that's it. Done. You can't open it up again and complete it. So we'll go on there, buy it. I'll let you know how much it is, and I know there are other practice exams for the CCA out there that are free, but I opened one and it wasn't quality at all. So I would not suggest doing that if you're going to be using this as your kind of baseline to see where you're at. Don't use those. You can try using those just for practice, just in general, but if you want to have a mock exam, like if you're going to be taking the exam in a week or two, go through a HEMA, or if you're doing the CPC, go through the AAPC and use their practice exam. Okay, let's go to the store. CCA practice exam. Yes, please. Okay, so the CCA practice exam, it is $59.99. And then, of course, if you're a member, it's discounted. And there are 60 questions. It's not timed, but they suggest to time yourself. That will be the best way for you to gauge if you can complete the exam in the allotted time, because the CCA, I believe, if I remember correctly from our previous video, I'll have a link in the description where we compared AHEMA versus AAPC. We went over the certification exam, and I think AHEMA's is about 2 hours, I think. So this exam, yes, it's 60 questions, but it does cover all 6 domains that are found in the real certification exam. So clinical, classification systems, reimbursement methodologies, health records and data content, compliance, information technologies, and confidentiality and privacy. That is what will be covered. The only thing that I know my weakness will be is CPT, but I'm hoping maybe I'll get lucky and I can get through it. And reimbursement, because I'm having a hard time getting through that book because I find it a little boring. So my motivation is not there to complete that. But we'll see what happens, because if I can complete this exam, this practice exam, and pass it no problem, like I'm above the 70% mark, then I will feel confident actually sitting for the actual exam. I'll be confident that I can do it because I already know with this practice exam, I had no issues. So this is what I want to do and see where I fall. Wish me luck. All right, let's do it. Okay, exam has been purchased. Now we're going to open the practice exam. And I have all of my books. So we have ICD-10-CM, ICD-10-PCS, and CPT. Don't know how many of these I'm going to need. I assume all of them. Because I don't think they use an encoder for this. I have no idea. All right, let's get our timer going. So we have our timer there. I'm a little nervous. Kind of, not really. Let's do it. Practice exam. Let's go. Okay, 60 questions. Should take about an hour, I think it said. hour and 15 minutes. So it requires a passing score of 70%. There's no time limit, but you only have one attempt to do it, and if you close out the browser, you cannot get back into it, and that's it, and you have to buy it again. So let's begin. Start. Okay. Okay, so I just finished. It took me about a minute 21 seconds, and I did not pass. I was close, but I didn't pass. So my passing score was 66.66%, so I was just under the 70%, and I got 14 out of 20 in the clinical classification systems. It was very heavy on ICD-10-CM. At least this practice exam had, in that section, I would say 95% of that section was ICD-10-CM. There were like 3 or 4 that were combined ICD-10-CM and PCS, and there was 1 CPT question on this specific practice exam. So overall, 14 out of 20 isn't terrible, but I could have done a little bit better on that one, but some of the wording was a little bit tricky. There were 2 of them that talked about drugs being included in the diagnosis, etc., so that kind of threw me off. And there were a few that I felt like I knew the answer, but I wasn't sure, and then I picked the wrong answer. I did okay with ICD-10-CM, nothing too crazy. For the reimbursement section, I got 9 out of 14. So again, not terrible, just over passing, just over 50% in that section, which I knew I wasn't going to do well anyway. There were quite a few that I thought the wording of the questions were weird, and that's what threw me off because I wasn't entirely sure what they were asking, especially with the options that they gave for answers. Those were worded a bit weirdly, and again, didn't know what they meant by it, so that was another thing. Also, the abbreviations with reimbursement, I have no idea. And then for health records and data content, I got 7 out of 9 of those correct, so that was pretty easy. There were the 2 that I got wrong were a little bit weird, and oh well. The compliance domain, I got 5 out of 8 correct. Again, not terrible. And then the 5th domain, information technologies, I got 3 out of 5 correct. So again, not terrible. So the next one was information technologies, where I got 3 out of 5. So not too bad. And then the last domain, confidentiality and privacy, I got 2 out of 4, so exactly 50%. Some of these questions were a little bit weird. So what are you going to do? I'm not too surprised at the 66.66%. I thought it was going to be much lower because I didn't know how many questions were going to be on CPT and how much were going to be on reimbursement, but I was very surprised at how heavily weighted it was for ICD-10-CM. I couldn't believe how many ICD-10-CM questions there were and how there were very little solely on PCS and CPT. That was very interesting. And I don't know if the real exam also has majority ICD-10-CM and very few of PCS and CPT. I don't know. We can assume it probably will, so make sure you have a general understanding of CPT and PCS, but really focus on ICD-10-CM a lot with the sequencing. That's where I had some issue. And also reading the guidelines. There was another one where I should have read the guideline. That would have helped with the sequencing. And there was also one where in the diagnosis, it didn't say specifically what part of the body this diagnosis is associated to, what body part, and they just had 2 of the medical terms used, and I should have gone into the index because I would have found the correct answer. And I didn't, because one thing I was trying to do was not take too much time with going from index to tabular list. That takes up a lot of time, and when it is all multiple choice, to save time is to trial and error. Go to the first option, look at it. Does it match what is asked? That's your answer. If not, go to the second one. Find that code. Does it match or not? So on and so forth. So that's what I was doing, and I stayed on time, but it hurt me in one of the questions. But at least it was only one of the questions that I missed because I didn't go to the index. Oh well, not the end of the world. So I think I need to go back to ICD-10-CM and work on sequencing and focus more on some of the diagnoses that are linked to or involve pharmaceuticals. That was one that I was a little, what? But other than that, yeah, I need to cover reimbursement a little bit more, because then I could have upped my score a little bit if I would have gotten those reimbursement questions correct. But, reimbursement can be pretty boring, so we'll see. I didn't get any footage of doing the exam because the camera decided to not record, so you won't see any of it. And it was just me going from book to computer, nothing exciting. So if you'd like more information on ICD-10-CM, ICD-10-PCS, or CPT, subscribe to this channel. You'll get notifications on all of the videos that I post, so you're always in the know. Comment below if you have any questions. I hopefully can answer some of them as it pertains to the exam. And if you have any ideas on other videos, let me know. And also like this video if you enjoyed the topic of the exam and my brief take on what the practice exam was like and what I think the regular exam will be. And I'll see y'all later. Bye!